Hi Flosstube, it's Donna Doodlebug Stitcher, and today we're going to talk about cross stitch. So since my last video last Monday, it's been very rainy here. We had really bad, cool, just constant rain, and it finally let up on Sunday. And yesterday was beautiful. It was warm and it wasn't like overly hot, but it was warm and the blue sky and the sun was out. It was gorgeous. And then today it's raining again. So forgive me, my lighting is very off today because there is no sun. I've got all the blinds open in the living room and I have the front door open to kind of give me some light, but now the neighbors can see that I'm filming. So it is what it is. So I have a day off in filming only because yesterday was really hectic. Last week I ended up volunteering a lot at my daughter's school, so I've been trying to play catch up with, other things. Saturday was kind of a washout for me. It was pouring rain. I had to take the car to the dealership, and I was there for like 3 hours, and then I had to rush to get my daughter to a Girl Scouts activity, and then we went to the local mall, and because we had to go to Barnes & Noble, and we ended up eating dinner there. We went to California Pizza Kitchen, which was yummy. I got my favorite pizza there, so that was fun. And then we did our Target run, and that was a major to do. The cart was full. And then yesterday I had the grocery shopping and I ended up having to go to 3 different stores because, not everybody has everything on sale. So I ended up going to 2 different grocery stores plus Walmart, because I go to Walmart to get like paper products, and there was stuff that I forgot to get at Target that I ended up having to get at Walmart. So, and then I had an appointment yesterday afternoon, and so it was crazy. And while amidst the craziness, I was still trying to stitch. So I do have a lot of stuff to show you, but before we get to that, I want to talk about who I've been watching and who I've been fangirling over this week. First up is Farm Girl, and she is Farm Girl here on YouTube. Michelle, and I love her videos. I love her farm. I want her life. So if you're watching this, if you ever want to trade lives, look me up, because I am just smitten with your farm and your family and everything that you do. Your goats in your last video, you filming in the field, your goats were too adorable. I wish I could get, my mom told me that in this area, because I live in the suburbs of a city, but apparently there are farms here locally that they're called farmettes, and I never knew that, and I was like, that's what I want. I don't need a full-blown farm. I don't need to mow fields with tractors or anything like that. I just would like to have a couple of goats, some chickens, maybe a sheep. I don't know if my husband would know what to do with a cow if we had one, but just that kind of like simpler life, I would love that. So Farm Girl here on YouTube, go watch Michelle's videos. You will love them, and subscribe to her, please. Next up is Jan Hicks. You all know Jan Hicks. If you don't, you've been under a rock. I say that all the time. But Jan Hicks, I love her Stitch With Me videos. It's something that I can put on the TV and sit in the recliner and just stitch and watch it at the same time, and it's just so soothing to me. So that I've been loving her videos. I have more because she's been uploading like 1 or 2 a day. How does she find the time? I don't understand this. You must have help in your house because I don't understand how you could do all that. then go watch Deanne. If you don't subscribe to her, go subscribe and go watch her. Felicity Stitches, she came across in another, I think it was a recommended video, and I got hooked. And I especially love, and I watched this video when she was getting ready to leave for the New Jersey Floss Tubers retreat this past weekend. And she did a video all on magnification and lighting, and I was mesmerized by it. That's what I'm missing in my life. I'm missing, because these are my regular glasses, but besides my stitching glasses, which I have glasses that range anywhere from a 1.5, 2.0, and 2.5 magnification. Because depending on what I'm stitching and what my lighting's like, I need different levels of magnification with different charts and different fabrics. But her video was just eye-opening to me about, you know, the lighting is really what I lack. I think out of everything that I do currently, I need to step up my lighting game, and I need to step up on my finishing game. So that's my, going forward for the rest of this year, that's my goal, is to get myself a really good light, either a floor light. I have an OT light now. I have a clip-on OT light. It's not really, the clip-on is more for like a book, but I need something that has really good lighting that I can get above me, because my OT light right now sits on my nightstand and it's more down like at my waist, and so I can't get the lighting on my stitching that I want. So I'm looking for suggestions and other options. So if you have a suggestion, and you know, please post it below. Tell me where I should look. Tell me recommended brands. You know, if you can give me links, that's even better. I have an Amazon account with Prime, so you know, if it's through Amazon, great. But I love Felicity. I love the preciseness of what she talks about. So go watch her and subscribe. It's great. 2 new channels that aren't necessarily new to you, but new to me, that I came across and I'm starting to watch. Stitchy Shannon. She just did a video about her being a hot mess. I'm totally with you on that, girl. I totally get that. It's like some days my life in general is just a hot mess. And then the other stitcher is Amber Michelle Hand Stitched, and her latest video, she had made some changes with her whips, and she did a big haul from her LNS and got some awesome charts in their 50% off bin. So I know now when I go shopping, I have some day trips planned to go shopping and go exploring for LNSs outside of my local area. And when I do, that's the first thing I'm going to look for is sale bins and look to see what I can find. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you some whips. So the first one that I did this week, let me grab all of this stuff. So for a lot of you, Stitch Mania is over. What I had decided to do for Stitch Mania is I was going to do 16 to 17 projects and then rotate through them again, so that the entire month of May I would be stitching on Stitch Mania projects. So with that in mind, my new starts ended, and then I've started to pick up again on projects that you may have seen in a couple of my prior videos. So I will show you how I'm progressing. So the first one was last week, Monday, and I picked up to work some more on this older chart from Heart and Hand. and it's called Wee Watermelon, and I'll get really close there so you can see it. It's really, really cute, and they're tiny, and I'm stitching this for my mom. I've talked about my mom before. She just recently had knee surgery. She's recovering well. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers on that. She's to the point now where she's walking partly with a walker, and they're working with her in therapy to do a cane. So she's probably going to be going back to work here in the next week or so. So bye-bye second vehicle. So because her car, I'll have to go back to her. It's been nice having a second car. It makes life a lot easier, and it's a lot less hectic and tiring to not have to drive to where my husband works out of state, and then drive all the way back to my daughter's school and drop her off, and then in the afternoons pick her up from school, and then drive out of state to pick my husband up, and then come back home. So we are definitely looking into what options we have as far as getting a used car or a second vehicle of some sort, especially since I'm not quite back to work yet. More on that later. So anyway, this is for my mom, and I'm using the charted called for DMC. Originally, this the model that is pictured, it uses Anchor, and I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody. I mean, nobody local sells Anchor flosses anymore. I have, I think, one project that's kitted up that I have Anchor flosses for, and that's been kitted up for like over a decade. I still have the flosses, so God help us when I finally get around to stitching it, if it'll work or not. And hopefully I won't run out of floss, because that would be a problem. So anyway, I'm happy, you know, I like the colors of this. And then when I started stitching it, it just seemed, I think my mom will like it because these are kind of her colors, but I was looking for like that bright kind of watermelon pink color. So I have decided that after I get this done, that I'm going to restitch it, maybe on a bigger count fabric, and I'm going to kind of make my own floss changes, kind of, you know, not redesign it, because that's not the right term, and I can't redesign a published design, but I'm going to kind of make my own interpretations with the colors. So that'll be fun. I think I'm going to make sure I take this with me when I go on the day trips up to the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area, because there's a lot of cross-stitch stores there, and there's a lot of like needlework and stuff like that. So that's something that I plan to do, but later down the line. So that was a Wee Watermelon, and that stitches up really quickly, so I'm not too disappointed with how that's stitching up. Next up was another new start. This was what I talked about in my last video, the fabric that I had received and I showed you as part of my haul. This was the Harvest Keeper from Plum Street. And I'll turn it on its side so you can see the pattern. And this was, I've never stitched Plum Street before. I kind of got sucked into the loveliness of them watching Priscilla and Chelsea's videos. So I knew that because I have the love for bees and just the whole, you know, the fact that they can fly, you know, they're so heavy, but they can fly and they just look so delicate. I am all about bee designs. You will see that over time with me. So I started doing the beekeeper, or I'm sorry, the Harvest Keeper. And that's how much I got done in one evening stitching. And it's beautiful. I love how it's going so far. I'm starting to fill in the little acorns. So I will probably be picking this one up later again this week, maybe even today. I haven't decided between that and the next one I'm going to show you. So the next one, which was Wednesday of last week. See, my week is a total jumble last week because every day I was at school. So I just consider it the whole week was a school week. So I lost track of time. So Wednesday evening, I started stitching Plum Street's Babushka's Bees. And this was the new release that they just came out with. It's so pretty. I just love all those bee keeps. And this is how far I got on them. And it's upside down. Of course, what else would happen with a video by Donna? So I have those little vines done, and this fabric is 36 count, and it's very, very delicate. And it's also stitching it with one strand of floss, which I talked about in previous videos. I had never stitched 1/1. Now this one is 1/2, which is a little bit I'm more comfortable with, but I like how delicate the stitches look. If you can see, they just look so delicate. So I'm paying attention to that now and looking at charts to see, could I stitch this 1/2 instead of 2/2? Because I like the delicate nature of that. And those two pieces will be framed to hang up. So I'm, really taking my time and being patient with getting that done. Then last Thursday, I continued working on Cinnamon Heart Needleworks. And this is the Country Forest Sampler. And you can see it there. And so I didn't make very much progress on it. I'll be very honest, because last Thursday was one of the days I did all day at the school. So by the time we got home and everything was settled, I probably had about an hour to stitch before, maybe an hour and a half before I just completely was for the night. So I got one little tree done. This one right here, right there. And I got the tree and the trunk done. So on that top row, I have 2 more trees left to do. And then I have 3 more left underneath the alphabet. And then I have another row of houses to do at the bottom. And another row of trees. So I have lots of trees in my future with this one, which is fun. Because the tree itself is the same. So it's repetitive, but you have to remember where the gaps are. And so having one tree done, you can kind of see like, oh, I'm getting ready to skip 2 threads. And then I do 6 more, and then I skip another 2 threads. So it's kind of monotonous, but not in a bad way at all. It makes it a little easier. And then Friday, I worked on my Force Rules. This is my Star Wars pick for my, let me get it so there's not a glare. There we go. So this is the pattern I bought online through Etsy. And this is the one my husband likes, or my husband picked. He likes more than just this one, but this is the one he picked. And so I got some more of the outlining done. I got the R done, the big R and the little H done, which I didn't think was too bad for an hour's worth of work, because last Friday was like running around doing the bank and all of that stuff, and then we had a play date after school. And we went to the local, a local farm here that has a creamery, and they make it's all homemade ice cream. So we went there and got ice cream, and then we went back to her friend's house, and her mom and I kind of sat on their sun porch and just chit-chatted, and the girls played, and then picked up dinner, and then came home. And then Saturday, I mentioned, it rained, like cats and dogs rained. And I had to leave. I left the house here. Well, I got up because, you know, Saturday was the royal wedding. So I got up at like 5:30 and I started watching the TV. And the plan was that I was going to be out of the house by 7 because I had to be at the dealership at 8. They had told me to be there an hour early because they don't take appointments and it's first come, first serve. So if I wanted to get in and out, I needed to be there right when they opened. No problem. So then, of course, I started watching the wedding coverage and I didn't want to leave because I was all mesmerized by the beautiful, you know, pageantry of it all. And I'm a real royalty kind of, not geek, I'm not like obsessed with royalty, but I was obsessed with Princess Diana when I was little. And so much so when we did a trip to Europe with the marching band in high school, I made a point, I wanted to go to the milliner who made her hats. And they were beautiful. I just love the fascinators and the whole idea of, you know, when you get dressed up like that to go to a wedding or a formal event, you wear a hat. And especially now that I don't have a lot of hair, I think that a hat is a great accessory. So I got really into, I watched William and Kate's wedding and, you know, now Harry and Meghan. And it was beautiful. I ended up being able, because I had to leave the house, but I left at like 7:20. And by the time I got to the dealership, they were still closed. So I had to sit in the rain in my car. So what did I do? I pulled up the live YouTube stream of the wedding coverage. And so I was able to watch the rest of it. And then I rewatched it later on Saturday night after everything. So anyway, getting back to stitching. So I ended up taking my Saturday project with me in the car, and that way I could stitch on it while I was waiting. I ended up being there for like 3 hours. So they didn't open until 9. I didn't get out of there until I want to say around almost 11, because I got back here, it was 11:20 when I came home, because my husband was waiting for me because he had to go and run errands. So, and he didn't want to take my mom's car, so I, you know, traded cars with him, and then he went to and did what he had to do, and then we did the rest of the day. So I didn't get really, the only stitching that I got done was while I was in the car and while I was waiting for the car's service to be done. So that was on Bent Creek. I picked this up because after last week, those 2 Plum Streets, I was done with new starts for Stitch Mania. So now I'm just rotating back through again. So that was the one I picked up on Saturday because it's patriotic, so it fit within the Stars and Stripes Saturday hashtag. And I got done a few more filling in on the stripes. So I got the bottom red stripe filled in. I got the, let me put it in center there. The bottom red stripe filled in, the bottom white stripe filled in, outlining of the next red stripe and outlining of the next white stripe. So now I'm going up the sides here, and then I'll be filling in here with the blue and the star. So that's another one that's stitching up really quick for me. And then on Sunday, I was so excited because I've had this project since March. I started working on it, and then I wanted to punch it up a little bit as far as the border. So I was waiting on, my mailman's coming to the door. So I was waiting on getting the charts. And while I was waiting on that, I worked on the border. So then when I got all the bordering done, I realized oh, well, this is not stitched right. So I had to rip out the interior of it and start restitching it. But I'm so excited. I'm finally done the first block of the Farmhouse Christmas series. The little red barn. I'm finally done. I'm so excited. So I'm going to show it to you. Again, artistic license taken with how I have interpreted the chart. But you can see it there. So I changed the snowflakes, changed the trees, added a fence on this side. I changed the sheep. I actually stitched the sheep with wool thread. So my daughter likes to come up and kind of rub the woolly sheep. I'm like, please don't touch the stitching. So I'm really, really proud of this. So the next one on my list is the next one that I have chosen to stitch, because remember, I'm stitching 8, not 9. So the next one I'm stitching is Grandpa's Pickup. So that'll be the next block in that. So I will probably work on that again this coming week. Maybe put some stitches in to get the outlines done. And then yesterday, on Monday, I picked up one that you saw last week, the recipe for a snowman. And I did get my DMC. I went into the store knowing I needed baby blue because I forgot the color that the chart called for. So I ended up getting 3 different shades of a babyish blue. And so I brought them home and looked at them alongside of the Peacock Gentle Arts thread, which is the fancy floss it called for. And I was trying to find a color that I thought complemented it well. So I ended up doing it. And you can see there, I've got the snowflakes and some wispies there underneath the freshly, and added the word snow over on this side, over here, if I can figure out there, the snow, and then the snowflakes. And then now I get to work on the carrot. So so that'll be worked on again maybe this week. So that's all my whips this week. As far as haul, I placed 2 orders. Crazy Annie's had a new Country Cottage Needleworks coming out. So I ordered the fancy flosses and the fabric and the chart from her. So that she's supposed to be getting in this week, and it'll be shipping to me. So hopefully by next week's video, I'll have that to show you. And if not, then it'll be the week following. And then I also placed my bi-weekly orders with the cottage needlework, and I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I placed another order from my online supplier, and she's going to be getting that to me. Why I'm having a brain meltdown, I have no idea. Give me 1 second. What would we do without phones? Can anybody tell me? I don't know what my life would be like without a phone, because I use it for everything. The cottage needle. I don't know why my brain fart, but anyway, I ordered a couple of yellow fancy flosses, because for some reason that's like one of not golds but yellows. Those are colors that I'm missing, that I really don't have a large array of. And I'm debating on what to do. If I know a lot of people build their collection of DMC, and I don't really do that. I kind of like, if I'm going to sew in DMC, or stitch in DMC, I'll go and get all the colors it calls for. Even if I have like three skeins of that color in 3 different other projects, I'll still get a brand new skein. It's just weirdness from me. So my hauls hopefully will be coming soon. But what I did do is I went looking for finishing fabrics. So I have those to show you. We don't have a lot of options here in Delaware for fabrics other than Joann's. There's one other quilt store that's here, kind of local. It's about 20 minutes from me. There used to be a lot more, especially right over the line, like where my L&S is. There used to be like a couple of quilt shops, and they would have just walls of these beautiful fabrics, and I can't find anybody. So that's going to be a quest this summer, especially when I go to the Lancaster area. That Amish area of Pennsylvania is full of quilt shops, and so I'm looking forward to going up there and looking for something. So I will show you what I got at Joann's. I made 2 trips, 2 different days, and picked up, now all of these are half yards, because with finishing I don't think that I'll need more than that, because I'm using these more for like the backgrounds and things like that. And so the first one I got is it's called Lucky Irish, and it's a Joann. I got it at Joann's Fabric. It's made for them, but it's beautiful. It's simple. I didn't want something that screamed St. Patty's Day, but at the same time, I think it'll work nicely for, you know, March seasonal things. So I got that. And then I got this print that I thought it was really pretty for fall, and it has all those fall colors. So I think it'll go well with all the fall things that I have. I got this, which is kind of like a bandana print fabric. It's called Bandana Poppy, and that's just a fat quarter. And I got this Americana fabric, which I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it, but I thought it kind of looked cool with the barn wood and everything. This next fabric, I liked it so much, I bought it twice on 2 separate occasions. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to, you know, a lucky viewer will get picked to get a half yard of this fabric. But it's really pretty. It's got the fall colors, and it's got little leaves, maple leaves and other things. And it's got little acorns in it. It's very cute. It's cotton fabric. And my projects all just fell on the floor. So yeah, so if you like that, I'll tell you some more about that in just a bit. I got this yellow fabric, which looks like it has tiny little bees on it. And you know me and my bees, I gotta do it. So I got this. It'll definitely be used on a bee themed finish. I got this black and white check, which I'm obsessed with. I think I'm going to do this background for, I got a frame similar to something that you guys probably have seen from Hobby Lobby with the chicken wire in it. And I think that I'm gonna do like a monthly series that I'm gonna finish on that, and then this will be the background fabric for it. That way it can stay up year round. And I just change it out, kind of like with the magnets and stuff. And then I stocked up at Joann's on the sticky boards, the peel and stick mounting boards. So I got 2 different sizes. I got a few of the 8x10s and a few of the 5x7s. So that's gonna be fun. I also got this fabric, which I love. I wish I could get more. I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can get more of it, because I'd love to have a bag, like a stitching bag made out of this fabric. But I'm on a quest for that later in June when I go to Pennsylvania, because the person that makes my I don't know if you've seen pictures on my Instagram of my grime guards for my Q-snaps. She is going to be making some pieces for me later in the year. Jan King is her name. I will link her Facebook group below, because she makes things like project bags and tote bags and grime guards, and it's not just for Q-snaps, it's for, you know, any kind of hoop or stitching frame that you use. So I'll link her stuff below. But when I was out at the local quilt shop, which is down near the university, they didn't really have a lot of fabrics that, I mean, they have beautiful quilt fabrics, but nothing that kind of jumped out at me that I was looking for, until I saw this fabric, which I think if I combined this with that yellow that I showed you would be amazing. And then they did a fat quarter of that for me. And then I found this other fat quarter that is black background with chicken wire. How cute is that? So I definitely am going to either use it for finishing or for, yeah, probably for finishing. So I'm going to try and come out. And then I found these two fabrics that are from the Christmas show from Rank and Baskin. I think that's their name. Anyway, from the 60s. The Rudolph fabric. Oh my God. And then look at this. Look, there's Santa and there's the elf. And oh my gosh, I like died when I saw it. So I'm going to have her make me two grime guards, because I have a Christmas grime guard for my big 11-inch square Q-snap, and then I have an 8-inch Q-snap, and then I have an 8x11. So I'm going to have her make these, one for my 8x11 and one for my 8 square. So then I'll have Christmas grime guards when I work on my Christmas projects. So that is good. So for the fabric for this, if you would like to be considered for this, comment below. Do not mention giveaway. Do not mention free. But comment below with your favorite, if you've stitched Maynia, your favorite Maynia project that you've stitched. And if you haven't stitched Maynia, and why haven't you? But if you haven't stitched Maynia and you chose not to, tell me about your favorite project that you're currently working on. So it could be a whip, it could be something you've just finished, but comment that below, and then I'll take all the comments and I will pick a random viewer to receive this half yard of beautiful fabric. So with that in mind, we're going to end it here. Oh, there was one last thing I forgot to mention. Today, in fact, this morning before I filmed this, I sent my 2 pieces to Vanna for my finishing. I'm so excited. So I sent to her my Shepherd's Bush Trick or Treat, which I showed you in my, I think my first Flosstube video. And then the piece I was going to send her, I noticed that some of the beading stitches were coming loose and that I needed to redo them. So I made for my mom a Lizzie Kate that says dogs leave paw prints, and I didn't finish it because I was giving her the opportunity to pick how she wanted to finish it, and I thought that she'd want to frame it, and she actually totally threw me off guard and said that she would like to have it as a pillow. So I sent that to Vanna as well and asked her to make it into a pillow, and I'm giving her full creative reign over it. The only thing I asked was to see the fabrics that she chose for the pieces. So I'll have, later in the year, I'll have some finishes from Vanna to show you, a flat fold and a pillow, and I can't wait to get that. I can't wait. I'm so super excited. So I shipped them to her today, and she should get them by the end of the week. And then in a few months I'll have them back, and I'm so excited. And then now I have to like start thinking like, what can I stitch that I can then send to Vanna for finishing? So that's kind of exciting for me. So on that note, now I'm going to end it here, and I want to wish you all a happy week of stitching. Don't forget, comment below if you want to be considered for that fabric, and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do like it, go follow me on Instagram, because I try to post stitching related content over there. I try to get pictures at least once a day of my stitching and what I'm working on. I think I'm going to grab a bagel now because I'm starving, and I wish you all the best, and keep on stitching, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.